Ja sam, razmišljajući kako da krenemo u objašnjavanje nečega što mislim da je odlučujuće za period koji nam dolazi, zaista će biti pitanje da li ćemo uspeti ili nećemo uspeti ne samo na putu u Evropsku uniju, nego na putu sačuvanja naše privrede i našeg sistema, odlučio da nekako ceo koncept bude reboot svega, reboot načina na koji smo do sada radili, reboot načina na koji radimo posao, reboot politike i odnosa sa Evropskom unijom, reboot politike u okviru regiona za koji se više dugo zalažemo. Šte smo i šta smo kada pogledamo ovako u najogoljenijem sistemu, a to je dosta prompt sistem, imamo status quo kada je u pitanju proširenje Unije, status quo kada je u pitanju donošenja odluka u okviru evropskog tela i naravno status quo kada je u pitanju dalja vizija Evrope kao jednog od glavnih igrača u danas podeljenom svetu koji predvode pre svega s jedne strane Kina, a s druge strane Sjedinjene Američke Države. Imamo ogroman, što bi u kompjuterskom jeziku rekli, security alert. Mi ovde na našem kontinentu, dakle, sada ne govorim o podelama Evropska unija ili ne Evropska unija, govorim o jedinstvenoj strukturi u kojoj svi živimo, gde svi izvozimo, gde svi radimo i gde koga smo svi zavisni. Imamo rat u Ukrajini, imamo ilegalne migracije na južnim granicama, na mediteranskim granicama i imamo Zapadni Balkan koji je izložen i tekako izložen visokom riziku od sukoba. Imali smo do pre nekih 10-15 godina učešće Evropske unije, dakle privrede Evropske unije u globalnoj privredi od 30%, danas je imamo na 16%. U kompjuterskom jeziku se to naziva kompres. Imamo usporavanje rasta, kao što vidite, kada uporedimo sa glavnim drugim igračima, Kinom i Sjedinjenim Američkim Državama, vidi se da je Kina od 16. do 2021. rasla 6, Amerika 2,1, a Evropa svega 1,2. Evropska unija takođe uvozi 98% svih retkih metala i potrebnih resursa za inovativne tehnologije, govorimo o baterijama, electric vehicles, sprovodnicima, šta god zamislite. Paradoks je da upravo green agendu koju imamo, zajedničku green agendu koju imamo na evropskom kontinentu, nismo stigli da osamostalimo, već 90% zavisimo upravo od dobavljača od drugih igrača, u ovom slučaju Kine najviše, i kada je u pitanju dobavljački lanci, znači samo solar power supply chain, i kada su u pitanju processing materijala. Kada pogledate koliko se ulaže u nalaženje resursa i u eksploataciju resursa, ponovo poređenje 1,7% GDP-a je Kina, 1,3% GDP-a je Evropska unija, 0,2% je Evropska unija. Takođe, u tehnologije, research and development, u investicije, opet smo kao Evropljani negde na trećem mestu, 660 milijardi dolara Kina, 556 milijardi, 660 milijardi Amerika, 556 milijardi Kina i 400 milijardi Evropska unija. Kada pogledamo sve, ako se opet obratimo kodiranim rečnikom ili u kodu, Vlada to razume, on je čovjek iz struke, šta to znači? Znači, ako if je ovo, kako sam rekao, šta će se dešavati sa nama? Ono što bi morali da shvatimo je da mi zaista jesmo deo evropske ekonomske strukture i mi od toga niti možemo, niti želimo da pobegnemo. I zato je posebno važno da razmišljamo kako ove stvari i ove izazove da odgovorimo. 60% investicija, stranih direktnih investicija dolazi iz Evropske unije, znači ne govorim samo 20 milijardi eura je do sada investirano, 70% izvozimo na teritoriju Evropske unije i Zapadnog Balkana. Imamo i, dakle, imamo u Srbiji, samim tim što nismo deo Evropske unije ili bar jedinstvenog tržišta ili ne uživamo 4 slobode, imamo daleko veće troškove kao kompanije nego iste kompanije naše veličine iz istog sektora u Evropskoj uniji. Nismo omogućeni, nemamo pristup tim najvećim strukturnim fondovima kako bi obavili zelenu tranziciju ili green transformation i ukoliko je ne obavimo, a tada je to već izvesno, takve su direktive uspostavljene, nećemo moći da plasiramo robu više na to tržište na gdje najviše i plasiramo. Dakle, ako sve ovo uzmemo u obzir, čini mi se da dolazimo do jednog jako tužnog zaključka da imamo fatal error u celokupnom sistemu i da je bitno da zajedno razvijamo strategiju ne samo ovde kao Srbija, već Srbija i region i naravno Evropska unija. Šta je ono što je specifično i što je u stvari još jedan paradoks Evrope? Dok imamo Anti-Inflation Act u Americi gde je vlada Sjedinjenih Američkih Država podržava, dakle, subvencijama svoje kompanije koje eksploatišu, dakle, retke metale za potrebe novih tehnologija ili u Americi ili u zemljama saveznicima i za to dobijaju dobre incentivse. Evropa za sada još uvijek nema jasnu strategiju. Ono što Evropa nekako još uvijek ne shvata da upravo ovaj region, upravo region Zapadnog Balkana jeste najbogatiji retkim metalima u Evropi. Litijum, najveće svetske rezerve, kalcic, čistoće 99,6%, grafit, kobalt, nikl, boron, to se sve nalazi, Srbija, Bosna, Kosovo, Makedonija, dakle, u Albaniji u okviru našeg regiona. Imamo dobre procesne kapacitete za prerađivačku industriju, dakle, ne želimo da budemo rudnik, već imamo sposobnosti da uradimo i procesing i, dakle, isporučujemo proizvode na tržišta širom sveta i recycling kapacitete, kao što je, na primjer, evo, samo za reciklažu baterija, koja će biti jedna velika tema u budućnosti. Imamo fabriku fosforne kiseline, koja je Eliksir grupa u Prahovu, ogromnu, koja ima kapacitete i tekako veće nego mnogi igrači u Evropi da preuzme dobar deo posla u reciklaži. Imamo, naravno, inženjere i institute. Šta nam je potrebno? Ono što se zalažem i što sam htio i sa vama da razgovaram, posle mnogo razgovora koje sam imao i sa predstavnicima evropskih industrija, dakle CEO-ovima, nedavno sam vidio 20 CEO-ova najvećih nemačkih kompanija, sa predstavnicima Brisela i tako dalje, jeste da razumemo zašto je to važno i zašto je to stvari presudno za nas. Bavimo se i dalje temama koje su teme prošlosti, ali ne samo to, nego i sa strane naših međunarodnih partnera, pre svega iz Brisela, imamo instrumente saradnje koji su razvijeni pre 30 godina. Razvijeni su u svakom svetu koji danas više ne postoji. Potrebna nam je nova strategija inkluzije u evropski sistem, potrebna nam je ulaz u jedinstveno tržište odmah i 4 slobode, dakle sloboda kretanja, kapitala, ljudi i roba. Dakle, to su prosti modeli koji postoje. Island, Norveška, Economic Community model. To nije nešto što je nemoguće, nije nešto što moramo da čekamo 30 godina, već nešto što Evropa može i mi zajedno sa njom, jer imamo dosta postavljena na tome da uradimo, zajedno sa njom možemo da ostvarimo u veoma brzom roku. Ako imamo jasni roadmap, dakle, bez sistema blokade, naravno, zašto ne, Evropa mora da odgovori na izazove Ukrajine, na izazove Moldavije. Ovakvi modeli mogu da budu, i to je ono što biznis danas u Evropi i traži. To znači pre svega defragmentacija ili konsolidacija Evrope za 1 do 2 godine kako bi ostala ili makar mogla da igra utakmicu sa najvećim igračima u svetu. Ovo što danas radimo i mi kao Privredna komora Srbije zajedno sa našim partnerima iz celog regiona poslednjih 1,5 godina jeste zaista stvaranje alijanse među evropskom privredom koja to i tekako shvata, jer ona je već ovde. Oni Srbiju i zemlje u regionu smatraju već priključenim članicama njihovog ekonomskog sistema. Ono što nam sad ostaje je da radimo sa donosiocima odluka kako i kod nas, tako i u Evropskoj uniji i u Sjedinjenim Američkim Državama. Naravno, moramo da se pripremimo šta god radili na toj globalnoj političkoj instanciji, lobirali, ukoliko mi kao kompanije nismo ovde spremni da budemo, dakle, konkurentni i da ispoštujemo ono što se danas traži na svetskim tržištima, pre svega na evropskom, američkom tržištu, da smo najprisutniji, teško ćemo uspeti sve da uđemo sutra u Evropsku uniju. Dakle, ono što mi kao Privredna komora Srbije radimo jeste da smo uz dobre pripreme od 1 godinu dana pokrenuli značajne stvari upravo za firme, za biznise. Pokrenuli smo Responsible Business Hub sa savetima, obukama za kompanije u lancu dobavljača, dakle, kako da da ispoštuju zakone koji su i direktive Evropske unije i zakone, pogotovo u Nemačkoj, koji su već stupili na snagu i dakle moraju da imaju određeni compliance sa tim zakonima, inače neće moći da izvoze u svetu, pre svega u te zemlje koje imaju te zakone. Formiramo i mobility cluster, dakle, koji će biti regionalan sa kompanijama od proizvodnje i procesinga sirovina, dakle, redkih metala, do katoda, baterija, električnih automobila, znači sve ono što se pod tim podrazumeva, jer upravo želimo da ovaj region ujedinimo oko jednog zaista možda najvažnijeg dobavljačkog lanča sutrašnjice, a to je renewable i to je e-mobility. Dakle, imamo za to i potencijala, imamo dosta kompanija koje ovde već rade iz automotive sektora koje prelaze na e-mobility, a imamo i ovo o čemu smo pričali. Takođe, ESG je jedna važna tema koja sve više zaokuplja i velike kompanije širom kontinenta, ali i u svetu. Formirali smo ovde ljude koji se samo time bave, dakle, pred svega savjetima oko na koji način možete da pratite održivost, ugljeničnu neutralnost, na koji način možete da uvodite cirkularnu ekonomiju u svojim firmama, pred svega misleći na one srednje i manje koje jednostavno nemaju velike kapacitete da to negde sa strane kupe ili da negde outsourcuju, jer to naravno košta. Počeli smo, druga važna stvar u ovom konceptu, ajde da kažem, novih izazova jeste digitalizacija, o kojoj smo toliko razgovarali. Mi već nekoliko godina nazad imamo Centar za digitalne transformacije, više od 6.000 kompanija je prošlo taj savjetodavni proces, implementiralo neke digitalne strategije. Sada idemo u sledeću fazu, 1.9. otvaramo Innovation Hub u Kneza Miloša, da će zajedno sa našim prijateljima i kolegama iz komore grada, koji će sve više i raditi ove stvari, povezivati tradicionalnu industriju i zajednicu inovatora ili IT zajednicu, kako god hoćete, gde će praktično biti start-up laboratorija, ali najveće ćemo se opredeliti onome što sada nemamo. Imamo već prve događaje 1.9. veliki događaj sa našom industrijom iz nekoliko sektora i upravo tim mladim ili ne tako mladim inovatorima koji uglavnom rade, njihove kompanije su ovde u Beogradu, ali one poslovi uglavnom rade za naručioce iz inostranstva, da retko imamo kontakt između te dve zajednice. I za kraj, ono što je možda lepa stvar, a to je da razmišljamo kako ćemo u budućnosti izgledati, jer mnogo toga ćemo morati da radimo. Zanima nas da i razvili smo projekat nove privredne komore, nove zgrade, ali to nije naravno samo zgrada kao takva, već jedna modern centar za razvoj naše privrede, ali i privrede regiona. Želimo da postanemo, kao što već mnoge kompanije jesu i imaju ovde hub za čitav region, mi želimo da postanemo organizacija koja će pomagati i svim zemljama u okruženju i zaista te kapacitete i imamo. Zgrada će biti na Novom Beogradu i mi je zovemo razvojni paviljon Srbija, jer zaista je razvoj nešto što je najvažnije trenutno kod nas. Hteo sam ovaj uvod da napravim, znate, sve ove stvari oko koliko smo inicijativa uradili, ovih standardnih stvari koje komora radi, možete da nađete u materijalu, inače smo u kontaktu stalno i sa našim udruženjima i manje više je to neki svakodnevni posao. Ali ovaj posao je zaista mnogo važan, zato što ukoliko ne shvatimo ozbiljnost situacije i ukoliko ne shvatimo šta znači ako ostanemo ni tamo ni vamo, onda zaista možemo da zatvaramo firme. Zaista je tako i to je ono što je opasnost i što je veliki rizik po našu privredu. Zato nam trebaju prijatelji, zato nam treba podrška i meni je drago što su danas sa mnom i ovde ambasadori i ambasador Hil i ambasador Luka, da jednostavno shvatimo zajedno da više nije pitanje samo, ajde da kažem, nekih spoljno-političkih odseka oko toga da li Zapadni Balkan treba ili ne treba, već je pitanje zaista i evropske sigurnosti, evropske strukture, evropske ekonomije, evropske industrije, jer mi jesmo deo evropske industrije, imamo šta da ponudimo i tekako to smo sada i videli, ali bez jasne vizije i strategije samih evropskih zemalja i nekih partnera, naših partnera u Sjedinjenim Američkim Državama. Teško da to sami možemo da uradimo i zato vas molim, gospodine Hil, da se prvo i obratite. Hvala vam puno.
You know, the United States very much, and I think we've made no secret of this, we want to do more with Serbia. We want a better relationship. We want a deeper relationship. We want a relationship that is tried and tested and can take us way into the future. I'm not here to talk about the past. I'm not here to talk about the difficulties, but I am here to say that as far as Serbia wants to take this relationship, we will want to do the same. Obviously, we're two countries separated by a large ocean, but we are not at all separated by the European Union, because an essential part of America's role here is to support Serbia in its aspirations for membership in the European Union. That is absolutely of fundamental importance to us, that Serbia and the European Union can be joined together. Obviously, there are issues. It's difficult to go through a process that is quite formidable at times when you look at the number of chapters that need to be looked at and responded to, but that too is why the U.S. stands ready to assist Serbia in any way we can to help Serbia get through the process and ultimately be a good member of the European Union. More of the United States, therefore, by definition, does not mean less of the European Union. It means more of both. And I hope that this concept really people understand as fundamentally being a concept of shifting Serbia very much in the direction in the West, shifting Serbia to a situation where Serbia, as a member of the European Union, and maybe some other group memberships as well, that this will be the natural state of affairs, because that is where this country belongs. We know that the 20th century was, to put it mildly, a brutal century. We know that the 20th century was not at all kind to Serbia, fighting wars, sometimes with a sense of being alone, but with some important allies at other times. It's not been easy for Serbia. And then for the Serbian people, ever since really the middle of the 20th century, to be subjected to one experiment after the next. It was not easy for everyone in Serbia to understand some of the ideology that appeared in Serbia in the late 40s, the early 50s, an ideology that today people study as history. I think to some extent what we study today as political science, we used to consider history. That is the issue of nation formation in the Balkans. That's today something we look at as political science, whereas in those days, back in the middle of the 20th century, all that seemed to be more as history. So today, what is political science is history in another era, and what was history in another era is political science. All this is to say that for Serbian people, they've gone through a lot. They've looked at different systems, certainly the system of worker self-management, one of these grand experiments, still studied in many universities, is nonetheless something that left, I think, many Serbian people kind of exhausted by the process of studying what a basic organization of associated labor. Those kinds of issues, very hard for many people to kind of keep up with. And then, of course, Serbia began a different chapter in its economic history. And now, I think Serbia has the right approach, which is it needs an economy built on entrepreneurship, an economy built on integration, not only with within regions of Serbia with some of the best infrastructure you can find anywhere in Europe, but also an economy built on cooperation with other countries, especially with the European Union. So I think Serbia has come a long way. And it hasn't been easy for the Serbian people. It's not easy for any people to go through so much. And yet I think Serbia is making the right decisions and heading in the right direction. Obviously, this will continue to be difficult as we go through some difficult moments. But as I mentioned at the outset, the U.S. sees Serbia as a good partner, a partner that we can work with in the fullness of time, and a partner that we are going to be closer with in the future. The U.S. has brought trade delegations here. I know that you all have seen some of our businesses coming in these trade unions. We are very interested in a number of your industries, and make no mistake, Serbia has some of the best industries, whether it's in the tech industry, food processing, other industries. Serbia is really moving along, and I think sometimes it would everyone in this country would do well to stop and think about the degree to which this country has come along since those days of Osnovne Organizacije, Družene Rade, whatever that kind of stuff meant. Serbia has really come along. Now, it is easy, of course, for American diplomats always to be offering places to countries in the European Union, but we're not in the European Union, and that is something that countries, including Serbia, need to work out with the European Union. And here, too, I think if I were the European Union, I think I would love Serbia, bring Serbia in, but I don't want to bring in Serbia's problems. So Serbia has to work on many of those problems, because I think when you're a group, as in the European Union, you want to bring in the country, but maybe not all of the problems that the country is going through. And for that reason, there needs to be, I think, a real focus on some of these regional issues. You know, there are some mechanisms for dealing with this, for fostering regional integration. Certainly the Berlin process is one of them. I think Open Balkans is another. I think people need to understand in the Balkans, where many of these maps were essentially created over political and even identity issues, that the maps, people need to understand that what is also important is if you're going to have a factory in Serbia, you may well want to have a market that goes beyond Serbia. If you're going to have a factory in a country like North Macedonia, you would clearly want to make sure that you have a market that goes beyond North Macedonia. So I think the efforts at trying to create more regional mechanisms are very, very positive efforts, and we absolutely support all of these efforts aimed at this. At some point, when you go down to borders in the Balkans, you have to look at the fact that these borders, you know, to be slowed up 3 times on your way to the sea, that's not really going to work. We need to make sure borders are borders here that join and not borders that divide. I have no doubt that as people come together and sit over a table, they will be able to work through some of these issues of regional cooperation. Certainly, the Serbian Chamber has done a great job of having such close contacts with all the other chambers of the regions. That is going to be absolutely crucial as we go forward. So I think we can look forward to a day when many of these new technologies, that technology companies will see this area of the world as a place where innovation is really something they can count on here. And I think it's also not only important for those of us who are here, but also important for our children and our children's children. They need to feel comfortable here. They need to feel comfortable that the system is set, the system is fair, the system is going forward, and they need to be sure that they can raise a family and have a good life here. And I think more and more you can see that happening. If you venture out on this beautiful highway system, you see so many towns where there's a real sense of being part of the future and not just part of the past. So with those thoughts, I once again would like to congratulate you on this General Assembly of the Serbian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And I want to encourage you all to think good thoughts about neighbors, think good thoughts about what needs to be done. Don't always argue about the problems. You know, problems will argue for themselves. You don't need to help them. Let the problems argue themselves. We all know what they are, but rather spend a much greater focus on what the possibilities and what a little optimism can do to bring those possibilities to reality. So thank you very much, and good luck to all of you.
Thank you for inviting me today to this General Assembly of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Serbia. I would have much preferred to be with you in person. Unfortunately, I cannot to be with you today, but I'm happy that I am able to send you this message. Economic integration between Serbia and the European Union is well advanced. And this is to a great extent thanks to the hard work done both by the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, but also each and one of its members individually. For more than a decade, the European Union has been by far Serbia's most important trade partner. Figures speak for themselves. Last year, Serbia's exports to the European Union stood at 64% of the total export, whereas bilateral EU-Serbia trade reached a total of almost 40 billion euros. These figures have been on a persistent rise for years now. The EU companies are by far Serbia's biggest foreign investors, accounting for around 60% of the total FDI registers in the period 2010-2022. It is estimated that today EU companies employ approximately 280,000, 300,000 people directly. Indirectly, it is a much larger proportion of Serbian citizens. It is employed because of company and particularly SMEs that cooperate and work with EU investors as their suppliers, clients, along different important value chains. The Serbia's private sector is one of the strongest supporters of Serbia's European economic integration. And I'm personally grateful for that and for all your efforts to opening up the Serbia's economies and gradually uniting with the European one. Day by day, Serbia is getting closer and closer to the European Union's internal market, and we aim for deepening and accelerating further Serbia's integration. Last week, President Ursula von der Leyen, the President of the European Commission, announced at the Global Security Forum in Bratislava the European Commission's new plan for enhancing the integration process of the Western Balkans into the European Union. The new growth plan for the Western Balkans aims to bring forward some of the benefits of the EU membership to the region even before accessions and in line with the revised enlargement methodology presented by the Commission. This plan is built around four main pillars. Firstly, to bring the Western Balkans closer to the European Union single market. Secondly, to deepen the regional economic integration. Thirdly, to accelerate fundamental reforms. And fourthly, to increase funding pre-accession funds for the region. Mrs. von der Leyen referred to the digital market and facilitating payments and trade as examples. As we know, the European Union single market has been a powerful engine to create wealth and prosperity among EU member states, and it can already now be an engine of economic transformations in the Western Balkans. And when it comes to regional integration, I really believe that no one better than you can understand the potential this can unlock. So regional economic integration based on European Union rules and standards, better integration with the EU single market, and deepening of reforms are needed to accelerate growth in the region, to promote economic convergence and to strengthen regional stability. Finally, yet important, I would like to invite you all to attend our Opportunity Week activities that will take place on the week of the 20-26th of June, a week-long series of events informing about the opportunities that the European Union can offer to the citizens and business of Serbia. You can find all the relevant information on our website, mogućnosti.rs. I wish all a fruitful meeting, and I wish to see you soon in person. Thank you very much. Hvala puno.
Dobar dan svima. Drago mi je što sam danas ovde sa vama. I'm very happy to be here with all of you. Thank you very much, Marco, for the invitation. When we speak about Serbia and Europe, we speak about many times of conditionalities, pressure, reforms, opening new chapters, opening new clusters. But as we just heard from Ambassador Žiofre, Europe for Serbia is first of all the future, the political future of the country, but also the economic future of the country. And the data speak for themselves, and Ambassador Žiofre already recalled, for instance, the importance of the trade relationship between Serbia and the European Union, with around 60% of total external trade of Serbia with EU member states. In the context of the relationship between Serbia and the European Union, the relationship between Italy and Serbia is really critical. Today, there is a new engagement of the Italian government in the Western Balkan. There is a new commitment of our government to Serbia in particular, and there is a great interest of the Italian companies to come to Serbia, to invest in Serbia, to establish new economic partnerships with the Serbian companies. And this is, of course, the result of many factors: geographical proximity, the possibility to employ educated and skilled workforce, nearshoring processes, fiscal advantages, and so on. Today, we have in Serbia more than 1,200 Italian companies registered. They employ almost 50,000 people overall and contribute to more than 5.5% of Serbian GDP. So the numbers are important. We also hit last year in 2022 our record in the trade exchange, which is now more than 4.6 billion euros. So if we look at the numbers, we could be satisfied, but we are not. We want to do more. We want to improve our relationship, and we are ready to do it. My mission here in Serbia as ambassador of Italy is to renew the economic cooperation between Italy and Serbia. In the last 20 years, our economic partnership was very much based on the traditional sectors, from textile to automotive. Today, it's time to move forward and to open new possibilities to new sectors, especially sectors with a more important technological component. This is why last March we organized a very important business and science forum between Italy and Serbia here in Belgrade, and we did it in partnership with PKS, and I'm really grateful to Marco, Mihailo, and all the PKS team for the wonderful cooperation we had. We organized a very important event. We combined business and science cooperation, and the numbers of the event were quite remarkable. We brought to Belgrade 150 Italian companies. They matched with 250 Serbian companies. We had more than 450 business-to-business meetings. We signed 13 agreements. So it was a very important event, but it was not a one-shot event. This is part, as I said, of a more broader strategy, and we have a roadmap in front of us to develop even further our cooperation, our innovative partnership. Let me just recall that Italy was the country partner in the agricultural fair in Novi Sad. We brought in May more than 20 Italian companies, very active in the agri-sec sector. But let me mention in particular a very important objective we have in mind. We are renewing the financial instruments that we are using to develop the economic cooperation with the Balkans and with Serbia in particular. CIMEST, which is the financial institution for the development and promotion of Italian companies, will open on the 28th of June the office here in Belgrade. SACE, which is the Italian Export Credit Agency, will open in Belgrade an office by the end of the year, and Cassa Depositi e Prestiti, which is the Italian National Development Bank, will do the same. They will open offices in Belgrade, and they will devise financial instruments to facilitate the trade between our two countries and to facilitate Italian investments in Serbia. In October, we will organize an innovation forum here in Belgrade between Italian and Serbian startups, focusing on digitalization and new technologies. In November, we will be very much present in the Wine Vision by Open Balkan. And next spring, we will organize another business and science forum between Italy and Serbia, but this time not in Belgrade, but in Italy, and precisely in Trieste. So this is the roadmap to innovate the economic partnership between Italy and Serbia. But in the end, let me just emphasize one message. The enlargement process to the Western Balkan region remains crucial. We have today a new opportunity to try to speed up the process. After the conflict in Ukraine started, there is a new awareness in Brussels of the necessity to speed up this process, and we want the Western Balkan, we want Serbia to be part of this process. We have to overcome the business as usual in the enlargement process. The business as usual with very low expectation from the region, with very low expectation from Brussels, doesn't work. We have to overcome this business as usual. There are many ideas floating around, but if I have to choose one, I would emphasize the necessity, as Marco was also mentioning, of single market as a new objective that we have to achieve in a reasonable time frame. The accession to single market could really be a very important engine to try to reinvigorate the enlargement process, and I'm very happy to hear that in Bratislava, the President of the European Commission made a clear reference to this possibility. So, just to conclude, Italy will remain very much engaged in the Balkans, in Serbia, and will stand with Serbia in the European Union path, which is and will remain the crucial strategic horizon for the country. Thank you very much.